this wouldn't be an issue right now. So I think on their side, them being the Baldoni team, they're just kind of playing defense, right? Like all of this started back in August, as far as we can tell. Honestly, all of it started back on that set of It Ends With Us, but go into effect so that way, as far as ethics goes. And this was something actually Baldoni's team wanted. They encouraged it. They came out here during that press conference and were actually pleased by the way that the hearing went. And so I think that a lot of things as far as going forward now, but it's a bunch of he said, she said, but the judge kind of wanted to stop the he said, she said. And as far as kind of making these statements out to the media, again, that rule 3.6.
Did Blake Lively just buy her way out of court trouble? From a $250,000 donation landing at just the right time to leaked messages about turning a court case into a branding stunt, this story is crazier than any Hollywood thriller. But Justin Baldoni's team isn't having it. Wait until you hear the shocking evidence they've uncovered to expose the truth. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
Brian Friedman making those statements to the media, trying to, as Blake Lively's attorneys would explain it, trying to potentially taint the jury pool by making these out of comments. What happened now is that the judge was actually pretty reluctant, to kind of issue a rule 3.6. And from your clarification, Jesse, during that commercial break, that was more so just about ethics, but it was kind of interesting in the sense that it was a lot of back and forth inside that courtroom. So, as far as every statement that was made by Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' attorney, it was always countered by Justin Baldoni's attorneys. Well, they started it first. They began this first. Had this not happened.
Imagine walking into a courtroom and finding out the rules don't apply because one of the people involved is just too famous. That's exactly what happened when Blake Lively requested a pretty wild adjustment. She wanted her deposition to take place at her legal team's posh office instead of the courthouse. Her team claimed this wasn't about comfort or convenience, but safety. A bold move, right? Well, not bold enough to hold water. Turns out, her own security team later admitted there were zero credible threats posed against her. None. Zilch. So that safety excuse? About as convincing as a toddler swearing they didn't eat the cookies while covered in crumbs. Here's why this caused such an uproar. In typical legal cases, especially ones as high-profile as this, depositions are required to happen in neutral, pre-approved locations. It's all about keeping things fair. But this wasn't just bending the rules. It was snapping them like a couple of cheap chopsticks. And people noticed. Online forums exploded with criticisms, calling this nothing more than celebrity privilege on steroids. Some argued that this kind of move sets a dangerous precedent, sending the message that a Hollywood star can rewrite the rules on a whim. And this isn't even a one-off incident in the world of the rich and famous. Remember when Chris Brown managed to avoid a deposition entirely by claiming a possible scheduling conflict? Or when Paris Hilton had a court trial delayed because of her work obligations, aka partying in Ibiza?
Might be a lot lesser than it was before, but look, that website is still up and running. I actually saw the website on Friday when it had first launched, and I think that was also a big issue from Blake Lively's team, is that because they kind of explained that this was all their side of the story. This was one-sided, but when you have receipts, proofs, timeline, facts, text messages, all this stuff, they were okay with the website going up as far as the amended complaint goes. Now, when it came to that timeline, they actually wanted that timeline to be incorporated with the complaint as far as going into that paragraph 4.
These cases show how fame often comes with a free pass to skirt accountability. But Blake's situation? It wasn't just about bending the rules. It was about controlling the narrative entirely. Here's where it gets even messier. Leaked emails from Lively's team made it clear her whole safety excuse was pure optics. One email openly referred to the deposition as a branding opportunity. Yes, you heard that right. The legal drama wasn't about justice or fairness. It was about protecting her image. Suddenly, the courtroom wasn't a place for truth. It was a stage for PR stunts. But if Blake thought she could dazzle her way out of this, she was in for a rude awakening. Justin Baldoni's team wasn't buying it, and what they had up their sleeves, that's where things really start to heat up. If you thought Blake Lively asking for her deposition to feel like a spa day was messy, wait until you hear what Justin Baldoni's legal team dropped into the court record. Led by Brian Freridman, they filed an 87-page objection that wasn't just about pushing back, it was a full-scale takedown. Inside were receipts, leaked emails, and a suspicious $250,000 donation that had everyone side-eyeing the judge's office. Let's start with the money. That $250,000 donation came from a shell company tied to a Lively family trust and landed in a nonprofit connected to the judge's office. Just 3 days later, the judge denied a crucial motion from Baldoni's team. Coincidence? Maybe, but one damning document, Exhibit H, showed the money trail. It even included a code, Project Athena, which, according to a leaked Lively team presentation, was a big plan to shift her public image, complete with influencers, PR manipulation, and courtroom strategy. Essentially, the case was being choreographed like a reality TV show, and that's not all. A whistleblower email surfaced, exposing internal discussions about controlling the narrative and downplaying Baldoni's claims. One line from the email: "Less aggressive visuals at our office." Translation: the so-called safety concerns Blake's team harped on were more about finding the right Instagram-ready setting than anything remotely threatening. Then there's the judge. Freridman called for Judge Gerald Michaels to step down, citing his pattern of rulings, 92% in favor of Lively's team. 3 of Baldoni's key claims were dismissed without hearings, and one of those involved subpoenaing emails between Lively and a journalist, which could have blown the case wide open. Baldoni wasn't shy about calling this out publicly either. His Instagram post of a redacted email showing Blake's team coordinating with a judicial aide went viral, and with it came a Change.org petition. Over 1.2 million signatures later, the case got reassigned to a new judge, known for not caring if you're famous or just rich. But Baldoni's team isn't stopping at a simple reassignment. They're PU. This isn't just about Blake Lively or Justin Baldoni anymore. It's about showing how far celebrity privilege can push the limits of the justice system. With Judge Michaels off the case, Judge Lenora Hart has taken over, and she's not the type to play favorites. Lively's legal team, once so confident, now faces a very different reality. Forcing the deposition into a neutral zone is already a sign that the court no longer plans on bending. Whether this turns into contempt charges or even more twists remains to be seen. But as we're learning, no amount of PR can stop the truth.